Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fred Speaks. I pray this podcast finds you in the best of health and spirits. And I want to encourage everyone to continue to take the necessary precautions to wash your hands and wear your face mask during this pandemic. Welcome, friends. This is Fred, the host of Fred Speaks. I'm super excited about this episode of Fred Speaks. The topic for this episode is travel alone. And I would like to read a quote, and it reads, "Some journeys in life can only be traveled alone." I was looking up that word journey, and there was a few definitions. One was traveling from one place to another, usually taking a rather long time. And the other definition was a passage or progress from one stage to another. And I was thinking about that quote and whether it be a vacation, a business venture, trying something new, or something we're going through, most people want to have someone or take someone along on the journey. However, there are times when the journey does not provide room for anyone else to accompany you. And we know that if we believe in God, that He will be with us. But how do we deal with the human desire to want another human being to be there? But before we explore that thought, let's look at how do we determine if the journey is something we need to travel alone. Think about this. In regards to traveling to a new vacation spot that you had dreamed about and you envision yourself exploring and doing various things, to take in new surroundings, unfiltered by the prejudice, the taste, or the preferences of a traveling companion that could overpower what you envision for your vacation. Traveling alone would give you the chance to indulge yourself fully. Of course, traveling alone has its risks too, such as safety concerns and loneliness. But a little preparation and common sense can save you money and get you through the rough spots. Traveling alone can be the ultimate in self-indulgence. You can rest when you want. You can pour it on when you're feeling ambitious. Another benefit is that your mistakes are your own and your triumphs are all the more exciting. There's no worrying that your insistence on going all the way across town to try to make it to a museum that was closed ruin your partner's day. It's your own day to salvage or chalk up to a learning experience. The vacation travel experience is an example of something that could be experienced alone. However, most people prefer to experience it with someone or a group. There are journeys that are exciting, but there are some journeys that are not so exciting. I would like to explore the journeys such as starting a business and not having the understanding or support of your friends and family, or taking a spiritual journey and others not understanding, or a mental journey that results in depression. In order to determine what journeys that should be traveled alone, there are a few things to ask yourself. Is this something that I need to do alone to fully understand me and allow me the ability to explore without someone else being in my head? Can someone change me to better deal with the specific journey? Is it a journey that requires support and understanding from a power greater than any human being? Ultimately, most would want God to be with them, especially with journeys in life that are not so pleasant. King David and all that he had and his experiences, he would encounter some journeys that he knew that no human being could go with him. He came to the conclusion that the Lord is my shepherd. And I love this chapter of Psalms, and because it's something, when you think about a shepherd, and a shepherd watches over the sheep, and there's not a moment where the shepherd isn't mindful or aware of the sheep. And the sheep knows that they can't do anything without the shepherd. They need the shepherd's guidance. They need the shepherd's protection. But one of the verses that stands out in the passage to me is in the 23rd chapter in the 4th verse. And it says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." And sometimes when you are going through something and it feels like you are alone, and in regards to a human being being there, you are alone. But there's one that is greater than the human being that is there with us. And that's what David come to realize, is that there's some places you get in that nobody else can help. Nobody else can be there. But he came to the conclusion that the Lord is my shepherd. And when you go through these places where it's valley like, it seems death like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, that there's no way that you'll recover, that there is one that is with you, and that you're not alone, even though it seems that you're alone, because there's no human being there, but he's there. So whether it is a business venture or a mental issue, sometimes it's best to travel alone to eliminate the outside noise. And sometimes when you're starting a business venture and you have so many people in your ear, you should do it this way, you should do it that way, but you already have a vision of what you want to do. And sometimes when you allow people in to what you have already envisioned for yourself and for your business, that some people are not happy for you and some people will not support you in the right way. They will actually many times discourage you because you have a big idea, you have a great idea, but because they're not doing it, they tend to, be that noise that you don't need, because it's your idea, it's your business venture, and you already envision what you want for your business. And sometimes mentally, we all get in places where we're just not all together there because of issues that we're going through, and we get into a mental state where it's good to be alone, to reflect, to understand, to understand why does whatever it is affect me the way it does. And that's usually a time to be alone and process things, and to reach out to God and realize that God is the only one that can help. And oftentimes we feel like if I don't have someone there, then I won't be able to get through it, or the journey will not be enjoyable. And I think that is a natural thing, that we want someone to be there, whether it's a good time or a bad time. We want someone to be there. But as I mentioned, there's times where you don't need anyone there because it is a time for you to reflect. It's a time for you to enjoy something or to indulge in something without anyone else being a part of it. Traveling alone sometimes it's not so bad, especially if you're able to reach your destination or achieve your goals. And I'm not promoting traveling alone for everything. However, there are some journeys that only God can travel with you. And if you can understand that traveling alone doesn't necessarily mean that you're totally alone. It actually means that there's a time that you can get away from everything and everyone and be able to have that time alone, that you can be in touch with yourself, your mood, your the things that you're dealing with, but most of all, be able to be in touch with God and understand that there are times where no human being has the words or can do anything that will bring any, change to whatever the journey is. But I would like to encourage everyone to take the time and really assess, the different journeys that, you have to go through in your life. And we all have them. Like I said, whether it is a business venture or, trying something new, even sometimes when it comes to your fitness, there, people that they want change, but they don't want to put in the work. And sometimes you have to go on that journey alone and realize that the change that you seek after, you may not have people that are willing to go, on that journey with you. They may talk about it, but for the change that you really want and desire, it may be something that you have to go alone. And you have to seek for motivation from within and for your desire to change. And even when it comes to, taking a vacation, and you want others to be there, but sometimes when it comes to you make your plans and you want to go on this vacation, that everybody is not willing to do what it takes to actually get to that date of going on the vacation. And so sometimes you have to leave others behind and say, hey, this is something that I really want to do. And regardless if this person doesn't want to do what is required, I'm going to do it. And I mentioned the vacations and business ventures, but the main thing that I would like to leave with you, and I hope that you get out of this podcast, is that there are places that we get in that far exceeds a business venture or a vacation. There's places we get in where we don't feel good about ourselves, or we're just really going through a bad place in our lives, and it seems like nobody else is able to provide the encouragement, or there's people that they desire to be there, but they can't help. And you find yourself that you have to travel alone. And I was talking to someone that, shared with me that, they were dealing with some mental issues. And it was really interesting that they said that they came to the conclusion that it was a journey that they couldn't take anybody else along with them. And that's what you run into, is that there are some things that you have to go through that nobody else can help. And your issues or whatever you're dealing with, they don't have the strength and the capacity to really be what you need. And that's when you realize that you need somebody that is greater than the human being. Somebody that can be there, your highs, your lows, your ups and your downs. That they can be there no matter what. And God is the only one that can be there during these journeys that we have to travel alone. And so I just want to encourage you that even though being a human being, we don't want to be alone. We don't want to travel alone, but I want to encourage you that you're not alone, that God is there. And sometimes you may not even have the words to even say to him, but he feels you. He feels what you're going through. He understands that we are human and that we have our issues. We have things that we go through that a lot of times we don't even understand about ourselves, or why we're dealing with certain things. But he knows everything that we're going through. And I'm just reminded that he will always be there. His ears are always attentive. He's always listening and waiting Sometimes, like I said, you may not even have the words to say. But even our mourn, our when we mourn and we groan and we don't have words to utter, but our hearts cry out. He hears us, he understands, and he'll be with us along the journey. So be of good cheer, be encouraged that he had to deal with everything, he felt everything that we have to go through. Every single thing, the things that you feel like nobody understands, he understands. He felt everything, all of our infirmities, all of the issues and things that any human being can encounter. Through Jesus Christ, he feels our infirmities. He feels what we're going through. And so don't be afraid that you're alone. Like David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. Because God is with us. He's with us. He won't leave us. And so we don't have to be afraid of traveling alone, that there's nobody that is willing to go with us, or there's nobody who is able to help us, but God is able. And I believe that even when it seems like there's nobody, even a human being that is able to help us, God has a way of even working through somebody to eventually say something that may spark and trigger something in you and let you know that he loves you. If you don't already know that he will let you know through somebody that he loves you and he cares about you and that he's thinking about you. So hold your head up. Don't let your head go down. I pray that today, as you're going about your day, that you will be able to look to the hills from which cometh your help, and all your help, it comes from the Lord. That you'll be encouraged, that you will know that although I may be alone, that there's no human being there, but God is there, and that hopefully that you can feel his presence. I've had times in my life when I wanted a human being to be there, but they couldn't be there for me. But God let me know that I'm here, that I love you. And he showed me that there was others that loved me. You know how that goes. When you're going through, it seems like nobody loves you and nobody cares. But he showed me that he loves me, and that he showed me so many others love me as well. So don't be afraid to travel alone, both naturally and spiritually. Sometimes you have to do some things that, others are not able to go along with you. And that's the thing, that can, cause you to be sad sometimes, because you want others to understand you and you want others to be along on the journey. But sometimes they can't come along and you have to go along on the journey. But just know that you're not alone, that Jesus, he's with you, and he'll be with you always, and he'll never leave you. So let us be happy today. Let us be joyous, and let us have a great day. And I want to encourage you to join us for another episode of Fred Speaks.